This video is for theme, modeling and simulation, unit manipulation, and this is video 8. In this video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how you will save the original image onto your computer and then save the changed image onto your computer and then put those images together in a presentation so that you can present your spot the difference to an audience. So you can see that I've already done my spot the difference picture. You can see that I've got 5 changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you just have a look at those. There you go. What I need to do now is, first of all, I want to save my original image, so the one without the changes. To do that, I need to untick the box for the changed layers so that I can actually see the original. So this image here has no changes made to it. I then need to make sure that the original layer is the one that's selected in the layers palette. So that's the one that's blue. That means I've now selected that original layer. Once I've done that, I'm going to go to File at the top, Save. This will bring up the Save Image dialog box, and you should have already learnt about different file formats for images. So you'll need to choose an appropriate file format for your image. Do you want to save it as a JPEG, a PNG, etc.? It gives us hints here for what these file formats are best suited for. So I'm actually going to use the JPEG because it is for most photos. I then need to give it an appropriate name. So I'm going to give mine an appropriate name of original. So this is my original image. So this is my original image. I'm saving it as a JPEG. I want the quality to be 100%. And you can see that it's going to be 1037 kilobytes in size. That's fine with me. I'm going to save it to my computer and then I'm going to press OK. That'll bring up this window, which will then ask you where you want to save this file. So I'm going to save it on my desktop and I'm going to press Save. Now what you'll notice is that on your desktop, if I just minimize this, will appear that original image that I've just saved here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm now back into Pixelcalm. I'm then going to swap them. So now what I'm going to do is untick the original layer, tick the changed layer, and you can see that this is the one with the changes. Make sure that I select the changed layer so that that's the one that is blue. And then I'm going to do the same again, File, Save, but you'll notice this time, look, that it's saving the one with the changes. So instead of calling this original image, I'm going to call this one changed image. Again, I'm going to save it as a JPEG. I'm going to make sure it's 100% quality. I'm saving it on my computer. I press Save. I'm going to save it to my desktop. Press Save. And then you'll notice that if I minimize this window, and now on my desktop, I've got the original image and the changed image. So that means that I've now manipulated my images and I've saved them to my desktop. You might also want to save this Pixlr project so that you keep these layers intact. If I want to do that, I'm going to go and click on File, Save, and this time I'm going to choose it as a PXD file, and I will call this both images. So once I save this as a PXD file, it will save these 2 layers so that I can open it again in Pixelcalm and work on it a little bit more if I want to. So again, I'm going to save this on my computer. It's going to be a very large file size because I've got both of the images. Press OK. Again, I'm going to save it on my desktop. If I just minimize this, you can see that now the both images.pxd file is now on my desktop, so I can upload that to Pixelcalm again if I want to make any further changes. Once I've done that, I can actually close Pixelcalm because I have all the images saved. I'm just going to minimize it for the purpose of this example. I can now go into each of these images if I like. So the original image, if I double click on that, it will open up in my window photo viewer and you can see that this is my original image. I keep that on there and instead I open the changed image. You can see that this is my changed image, and obviously I can't open up this file because I can only use Pixelcalm to do that. So now I have both of these images on my computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Microsoft PowerPoint and I'm going to put both of these images onto one slide. So I'm going to insert a new slide, and I'm just going to insert a blank one. And then I'm going to go back to this one here and delete it. So you can see that all I've got is a blank slide in my PowerPoint presentation. I'm then going to go to the Insert tab, insert a picture, click on my desktop. From here, what I can do is I can choose my original image, and that will insert it into PowerPoint. I'm just going to resize it a little bit by dragging on the corners. Don't drag on these to resize it, because it will distort it like that. What you want to do is drag from the corners and keep hold of Shift as you do that, and it will keep everything in proportion. So I'm dragging from the corners and keeping hold of Shift. Now I'm going to go to Insert again, Picture. I'm already on my desktop, and this time I want the changed image. And I'm going to do the exact same again. I'm going to click on the image, but this time I'm going to drag from the top corner, keep hold of Shift, move it down, and now I've got both of these images on my screen. I'm just going to resize them so that I can see them both next to each other. Make sure that they're the same size. So I'm going to drag them next to each other. Just extend this one a little bit so it's the same size as the original. I'm then going to click on both of them. So I'm going to click on this one, keep hold of my Shift button, and click on this one so that I've selected both, and then drag them down into the center. I then want to insert a text box, draw a text box at the top, and I'm going to write spot the 5 differences in these pictures. In fact, I might put, can you spot the 5 differences in these pictures? Make that a little bit bigger, put it in the middle, and that's my spot the difference created. Actually, I'm just going to put a little gap in between these by clicking on the picture and then using my arrow keys on my keyboard to move them just a little bit like that. I'm going to press on this button to view it, and there you can see that's my completed spot the difference. Here's the original, and here's the changed.